Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Happy Tuesday. 2 days before our nation's birthday. Just a quick announcement. You know we're out of town Thursday, Friday. So tomorrow is it. That's the last show of the week. But don't worry, you can order online at allamericangold.com. Of course, legal, lawful, constitutional, tender, biblical, right? I mean, you name it. It's the real deal. The one thing, it really is becoming the only thing where nobody but you knows what you hold and where it's at. Right? Because Big Brother is here. Big Brother is here in a big way. And if you're just joining us on hour number 2, by the way, you want to listen to the first hour, join over 1360khnc.com. And the show that follows me, the open forum program that follows me on 1360, it's the best radio around. It's so, and it's only getting better as these guys all hit their stride. The things that are talked about on that program are just things that you're not going to hear anywhere else on radio. Make sure you tune in. Jump over to 1360khnc.com for all that. A little plug there for the radio station. But we are talking about Bitcoin and what it is and what it isn't. Just know this. And we're talking because Google has been harvesting all of your medical records without your consent and getting help from the best medical schools, you know, and hospitals in the country. And it just doesn't end, right? Tracking everybody everywhere. That's what Bitcoin really is. You know, people, oh no, it's I can have anonymity and I can have my free. It's true freedom, and it's not controlled by the central bank. Sounds great, guys. It does. And listen, I'm not telling you not to buy it. I'm not telling you. I never tell you that. Hey, you want to speculate? Go ahead. But understand what it is. See, what's behind it is blockchain technology. And that's a blockchain. Interesting. You kind of think about this chain and some blocks, and it's all tied together. But you don't think about what is it really. It's a tracking system. It's really what it is. It's a financial tracking system that keeps a record of every purchase you ever make. Forever. Doesn't matter what it is, from a pack of gum, I don't know, a bag of weed. I mean, I don't know. I don't go to the weed store, but however you buy your weed, right, to your groceries, to gas, all the bills you pay, everything. Doctor's appointments, the stuff for your kids, lawyers, right? I mean, everything. And then you think about what these companies could do with it, what the government can do with that information. And that's the part why I say, and this is just what I believe. They're using all of these coins because they want the technology to get there. And then when they're ready, right, they crush them. They step on them. And the war on cash, it's all tied together. I mean, no more cash. I look at my kids now. I mean, they use it so little. They don't write checks. My son, my 19-year-old son, right, before they had him set up on direct deposit, He just takes a picture of his check, and in the bank it goes, right? And, we're old-fashioned here. We still like to go to the bank, right, put them in, They don't use cash. They Venmo or whatever it's called, these little apps that send the money back and forth. It's already here. And I've said this to everybody, I don't know how many times. The story's already been written. It's already too late. This is where we are going. The debt is unpayable. The bankers already have their plan. Right? They're going to make sure they get all the money. All of it out of the mattress, all of it out of the safe, all of it. That's why, when you think about owning gold and silver, it's truly turning into the only thing that they don't have. Your bank accounts, it's not even your money anymore. Right? Just logically, it doesn't pass the sniff test. Of course, before it did, because they used to pay you interest. Right? Hey, remember, you used to even get interest on your checking accounts, remember? Yeah. That's gone. Right? I don't even know how many trillions of debt now is negative interest rates and all that stuff. And it's incredible where we're headed. We got a great, great program lined up for you. The gold rally is back on. We'll talk about that next. 800-951-0592. So yesterday we had the great sell-off because we had a trade truce. That sell-off is over. And, of course, I told you wait a day, and I feel bad because gold's up 20, 1408. Silver, 15 and a quarter, just under 15 and a quarter this morning. Prices are up. Yesterday I knew something was up because none of the wholesalers, none of them, even lowered the price. Of course, now they've all raised the price. And it's one of those things, it happens, but I'm going to do something that, I want to make it up to you. It's 4th of July. We're leaving early. I told you that. The metals plans, by the way, Wendy is doing all she can. We had a huge shipment yesterday. Another massive shipment again today. If we will have them done by tomorrow. So they'll all be out, and you'll have been called. I think, Jason, all the Colorado pickups are already done. We're getting through everybody. Within the next 48 hours, they'll all be shipped and on their way to you, and or phone calls made for you to pick up. And if you haven't signed up for that program, wake up. Wake up. So yesterday I told you, right, we didn't really have anything going on. Wait a day. And now you've waited a day, and all the prices are up. So I made some phone calls, and really, that's a lie. I didn't make any phone calls. Wendy made some phone calls. And last week, we ran those $5 libs, remember? And we ran 4 5s at the same price as a 20, which is amazing in its price. And we knew that the wholesaler that we had purchased them from had hundreds of them, and we sold hundreds of them. And we called him this morning and said, hey, by the way, is there a chance you got any of them left, and what price would you give us? So we made a deal. Now, I don't have hundreds of them. I only have 75. That was literally every one he had. Wendy bought every single one of them. And here's what I'm going to do. The other day, and I forget what, maybe it was Thursday, something like that. We ran 4 $5 gold pieces for the same price as a 20. They were $375. You remember that? $375 is $1,500, right? Because $20 libs and saints were $1,500. $20 libs and saints today are $1,515. And really, I'm probably going to have to raise them again because gold just keeps rising. But here's what I'm going to do. I know for a fact, I don't think we've ever done this ever, but it's our nation's birthday coming up. We're leaving tomorrow's our last show for the week. Nike, it disgusted me today with their decision because Colin Kaepernick didn't like the Betsy Ross flag on their shoe. So I said, you know what, let's do it. I've got 75 $5 Liberty gold pieces. If you buy 4, they're $375. So if you buy 4 of them, they're $1,500. Gold's up $20 today. 4 5s at $1,500, which means if you bought, they're $375. You don't have to buy 4. You can buy as many as you want, up to 75. That means they're $15 less than a $20 gold piece. You're saving right now, regular price. I got to change it, but it was at $400. Regular price on a $5 lib today, we're looking at $405, $410. So the 75 of them for $375, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think this is the first time in Patriot history where you could buy 4 $5 libs for more. I think one time we did them once for like $5 less, and that was a long time ago. But you're saving $15 over the 20. That just doesn't happen. Happy birthday, America. $375 at 800-951-0592. Gold 1409 now. Gold continuing to rise. And again, it's all about the real data. I mean, we can pretend that somehow a trade truce or any of this stuff's going to help. It's not. I'm going to tell you, I already warned you about what's going to happen with second quarter earnings. And everyone, they're praying and hoping for this huge rebound in the third and the fourth quarter. Yet when you look at what these companies are actually saying, there's no rebound. There's no rebound. Put some gold away. Listen, even if you're like, well, you know what, though, it's not going to be as bad as Joe says. Maybe. Listen, I hope you're right. But really, I mean, you know what's happening. What's the debt now? $22.5 trillion? Right? We've added half a trillion in 4 months? 10 years from today. You know what? That's too long. Throw that out. 6 years from today. 6 years. We're going to have a deficit of, I'm hoping that it's less than 35 trillion. It won't be much less, right? I'm talking like 33, 34. Probably going to be somewhere between 35 and 40 in 6 years. Interest rates, right? They're headed lower. We know they're headed lower. The 10-year note's telling us this. The dollar's kind of in that weakening stage. And, yep, we can still claim, hey, we're the best of the worst, right? Yeah, I guess. But just, listen, and some of you out there, hey, I'm not going to be around in 6 years. Okay. Then you don't have to buy any if you don't want to. But if you are going to be around, it's going to be a pretty good idea to have some gold put away. And at this price, this is the stupid sale of the month, the week, the year. $5 Liberties at $375 at 800-951-0592. We've already got 2 lines holding. So we'll answer up that. Now we're down to 1. So we'll answer them in the order that you called and just keep adding, keep putting them away. By the way, those of you, some of the 5 libs have already gone out. Actually, most of them have already gone out. The rest of them are on their way in, and after the holiday, we'll be shipping. So if you want to add to it, maybe you've already bought some 5 libs, you want to add, whatever it is, 800-951-0592. We're going to go to the email bag. Listen, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. I had a great customer call me the other day with some questions. I'll spend time with you. I mean, obviously I got stuff going on, but I absolutely will spend time with you. Send me an email. Double J. The word double, the letter J. Double J at allamericangold.com. And I'll get back to you. But this was from Kevin. This email was from Kevin. I talked to you about the 401, right? And I've been educating everybody on it. Just such a crime of what they did. Because you got to understand what they took away to give you this 401k. And when you understand what they took away, you kind of understand how bad it was. But think about it today. Before I get to Kevin's email. Now they're saying between 1 in 3 and 1 in 2 people today have a side hustle, have a gig job to go along with their regular job, or their only jobs are gig jobs. Most of those gig jobs, there's no 401k included. Even the 401k now, these companies don't want to do that. I got to pay, there's administrative fees. Even if I don't do a match, and I probably got to do something like give them a quarter. I don't want to give them a quarter. And I don't want to pay you anything. And of course, I was telling you about performance. The stocks, this is the best it could be. They're at all-time highs. Gold's still better. Probably why, you think about it, why would anybody say, oh, well, I guess you could put 5% in gold, right? And even that, they get nasty about it. And I'm thinking, why would you want to do very much else? That's why I think about our metals plan. It's like a better version of a 401k because at least I don't whack you 2% every year. But here was Kevin. He sent me an email, really well thought out, by the way, talking about another way the 401k may not necessarily be a good way for folks to go. And it has to do with taxes. And I don't talk a lot about taxes. Most of us kind of know, right? We got the Trump tax cuts, and most of us figured out what that really was, right? That was a big giveaway to Wall Street, and most of us, maybe you got a little bit, right? Maybe you got an extra $100 or $200, maybe. And for some states, if you lived in the wrong state, you actually didn't because you didn't get what they call the SALT deductions. You have covered this, but not in this way. And I've never thought of it either till recently. But if a person invests in the stock market outside of a 401k or an IRA, right, long term, and that's an important part. You got to be long-term, and has gains, they get tax preference, right? It's called long-term capital gains. Right? They charge less, right? That's another one of the giveaways to the millionaires and the billionaires, right? Hey, we'll tax you less on Wall Street profits. Why? Well, because, we wanted you to keep investing in it, right? And most of us don't have the extra money to do that, right? We get maybe we can do the 401k, maybe, right, or an IRA, maybe. But when you pull funds from a 401k, and assuming you're older than 59 and a half, you will pay the full tax rate. Talk about that.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily commentary continuing the conservative pro-family legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
It's no fun working in road construction during a long, hot summer. Anybody can see that as they drive past construction sites in the comfort of their air-conditioned car. Construction workers are almost entirely men, but that's not because of discrimination. Most women are either physically unable to do that job or they just don't want to do it. For taking on a tough job like that, construction workers deserve to be paid more than those who take easier jobs in plush air-conditioned facilities. Equal pay for equal work has been required by federal law since 1963. Any woman paid less for doing the same work as a man can hit the jackpot by suing over it. And that isn't theory, it really happens. Democrats want to give some people equal pay for unequal work. That flies in the face of the free market and everything America is supposed to be about. It's no wonder the Democrats' equal pay for unequal work is being rejected by Congress and by the federal courts. Logging, roofing, trash collecting, and installing power lines, these are difficult, unsafe jobs that pay very well. The men who are willing to do that work should be paid more than women who work in offices or somewhere else where it's much less risky. Nothing in America prevents a woman from trying to wield a jackhammer on hard concrete to get that extra pay, but not so many women want to try. Democratic presidential hopefuls like Senator Kamala Harris whine that women who work full-time are paid just 80 cents on average for every dollar paid to men. What Kamala Harris conveniently leaves out is many women opt out of the workforce for the first years of adult life so they can raise children. That leads to less job-related experience and a naturally smaller paycheck. The steel workers and coal miners who built swing states like Pennsylvania were mostly men. Pennsylvanians want those jobs back, but Senator Harris's ludicrous feminist fantasies will not create these jobs for men or women. President Trump has been working hard to revive that Pennsylvania economy. Every economic indicator shows he's making great progress. No amount of empty feminist rhetoric will change that. The only equality Democrats offer to Pennsylvanians is the opportunity to be equally out of a job.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report with Ed Martin. Phyllis Schlafly Eagles are eagerly preparing for the 48th Annual Gateway Eagle Council to be held in St. Louis on September 13 to 15. Rally some friends for 3 exciting days of speakers, networking, and resourcing at the Gateway Eagle Council. Find details at phyllisschlafly.com. phyllisschlafly.com. See you there, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
Hey, we're back. 800-951-0592. 45 left. And this is a hard 45. Sometimes I always, I can do something. I cannot. I absolutely, positively cannot. You're talking about right now, if I had to buy these on the open market, and part of the reason why we're one of the best gold dealers in the world, because I've got sources. I've got places to go that other people don't. I mean, you're almost at cost here on the open market. U.S. $5 Liberties, the last 45 of them, they're $375. That's 4 5s less than a 20. Just never, ever happens. And part of it is I'm an idiot. And I say this to people all the time. Oh, what's gold going to do? They're waiting. Hey, should I buy today or not? And I always say the same thing. And I've told this story on the air a million times, and I just proved it to you. Yesterday I told you to, hey, I put 20s on, but I wasn't very enthusiastic, and I told her, you know what, wait till tomorrow. Here's how it works, right? If you buy today, it's going to go down tomorrow. And if you don't buy today, it's going to go up. And look what happens. Oh, bam, goes up 20. Of course it is. So I feel bad, and I called in, called in a favor, asked the guy, hey, help me out. Give me that deal. Come on, I know you can do it. Right, rubbed his belly a little bit. $375 on these $5 gold pieces. It doesn't get any better than that. 800-951-0592. And it's crazy. Nobody's in town, and I'm still selling them. So going back to Kevin, we're talking about the 401k. Trust me, I'm not telling you, hey, don't invest in it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is they stole from us again and acted like they did us a favor. This is 1,000,000 times worse than a pension. And now they don't even want to do that. Everything's a gig. So they don't have to give you they don't have to give you insurance. They don't have to give you a 401k. Wake up. What, so we can have fake all-time highs? Listen, this country has not been prosperous since 1971. And that's the truth. It's when we gave the banks all the power. But going back, he's talking about taxes on a 401k. See, once you hit 59 and a half, you can do whatever you want with that 401k after that time. Now let me be clear, without paying a penalty. See, think about this investment and how crappy it really is. You take your money and you put it in every paycheck after paycheck after paycheck. The second you may need that money, who knows why? Illness, accident, divorce, who knows? Any list of reasons, right? Sick kid, right? Whatever it may be. If you're not 59 and a half, and you withdraw that money, it was, yours, wink, wink, nod, nod. Not only do you got to pay the tax, but they slap a penalty on you on top of it. Right? Hey, we're just going to keep it. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Right? Because, see, they know they need your money in there. But assuming you're 59 and a half, you have to pay the full tax rate for both the original tax-deferred amount. So you think about, okay, I invested long-term every paycheck. And you know what? I was a good boy. Yeah, good boy. I did it. I started with my very first job. I never touched it, and I did it every year. That would be if you were a rich guy, because you wouldn't do it in your 401k if you're a rich guy. That would be a long-term investment. You should get taxed less. No. Kevin brings up a great point. You don't get the long-term capital gains tax on the original amount. You also don't get the long-term capital gains tax on the profits of the original amount if you have them. Right? You got to pay the regular tax rate on all of it. Now, depending on how successful you are, the bigger your 401k is, the worse chance you are of what? Having to pay the higher tax rate. Right? Shouldn't it be the opposite? But it's not. So if you're at the 28% tax bracket, you'll pay nearly double the income tax on the gains if compared to if you had invested the money outside of the 401k. It's interesting. He's right. Now, one of the things about being outside of it, you got to have what? Discipline, right? And right now, I would venture to say, my guess is, hey, I'd rather be paying the tax now than later. Because I really don't know how, I just do math, right? I was always real good at math. And I just look, the math doesn't add up. And you look at what the cities and the states are doing, right? They're coming after us one way or another. The 401k is like the last golden goose. Think about your bank accounts. Interest is gone. Gone. But remember, they ran commercials ad infinitum. They'd have the financial planners out on the radio and on the TV and telling you, well, once you hit 55, right, you don't buy stocks anymore because stocks, listen, and they know, hey, stocks are risky. And they are. We get it. There's good times and bad. Stocks are risky. You go into bonds. Yes. And you live off the interest. Right? Remember that crap when they tell you can live off the interest? Right? You just put that 401k money away. If you do it, right, you can just live off the interest. Well, guess what the interest is? Nothing. Zippo, nada. Live off of that. Get the last of those $5 lives before they're gone. Patriot Radio News Hour. Apparently, yesterday was a head fake. The Dow's Dow's lost all its gains. Gold's right back. Gold 1409. Gold's up 20. The Dow is down 70. The 10-year. No, we're just talking about interest. 197 and falling. Not a very good sign. I don't know does somebody know something? Because we didn't really have any economic data today. Does somebody know something about the ADP number tomorrow? Or maybe about the government jobs number Friday? And obviously, I'm judging this as, is this going to be a really bad number based on what gold's done today and what the 10-year note's doing today? I don't know because it's just odd. So we're talking about 401ks and taxes. If you do really well in your 401k, which meant, hey, you had a good career, so you put a lot in. Well, when you go to take it out, right, I'm going to whack you more on tax. Hey, you did well. Because once you get to 70.5, they start forcing you to sell. You got to sell 10%. So imagine you're one of those guys with the numbers that they put out on TV. Right. So to pay no attention to that, no one really has those amounts. But if you had a couple $1,000,000 in your 401k, you hit 70.5, that's $200,000. It's income. Whoops. Now you whack the tax. Now, of course, some of the people will tell you, well, hey, your income is going to be a lot lower when you're older, so you'll pay less in taxes. So what are they telling you? Plan on being poor? Right? That was Kevin's point. That's not me. That was brilliant, Kevin. Yes. Plan on being poor. So when you hit 70.5, hey, it's only an extra, I only got $50,000, I only got $5,000. It's not that much income. Right? That's their advice. Does that make sense? Right? Just plan on being poor. Isn't the idea of funding your own retirement account supposed to be that you supplement your Social Security Well, it's actually supposed to supplement your pension and your Social Security. That's what they created it for. See, because the guys that created this in the 80s, they were pretty smart. Now, they didn't realize the evil that was going to be done. Right? It's kind of like the labor unions when they were all behind NAFTA and GATT without really realizing what was going to really happen. See, they knew. Hey, even if you're in there, the average guy's in there for 20, 30, 40 years, they're not really going to have that much money. 40, 50 grand. Hey, maybe you lucked out and got $100. Right? I got $100 grand. You don't. I got to pay the tax. But essentially, they're like, that could supplement your income. Right? Supplement it. It's not going to allow you to live. But no, that's what you have to do now. Right? Between that and the Social Security check, you got to live off that. Social Security check's only $1,400, $1,500 a month for most people. If you do reasonably well, you may very well end up paying even more income tax at the same time that you are in bed, so to speak, with the IRS and the government, right? Isn't it great? It's such a great win-win. All physical gold and silver investments are taxed as collectibles. Yep, and that's true. And there is no break for holding them long term, right? You don't get long term capital gains. So it actually makes some sense to fund a gold and silver IRA. He brings up a great point. I didn't even think about it. If you have a 401k, and let's just say you're at 59 and a half, or it was a 401k from 5 jobs ago, whatever it may be, and you want to roll it over into a gold and silver IRA because you just can't stomach the tax hit, right? Because it's gonna be income, right? Let's just say hypothetically that you got $100 grand, and you have the ability to take it without penalty and or roll it over into an IRA, one of the two. Well, taking it means you're going to add $100 grand to your income, which means what? Yeah, you're going to pay, 30% of that $100 grand's gone. Right? You're going to pay tax, big tax. So a lot of people are like, man, I just can't do it, Joe. I can't. I feel like I'm throwing away 30 grand. Right? I get it, right? It's not your 30 grand, but okay, I get it. So you want to roll it over. Now, do you get to hold the metal? No. It's the second best way of investing in gold and silver in a precious metals IRA. It's stored at the Delaware Depository. But it does act like a 401k. So you may end up, the 28%, that's the tax rate on gold and silver. But if you put it into that 401k and you don't end up with $1 million or more, then you may have a tax advantage, right? Hey, you know what? I only got, 100, 200,000. So when it comes time for me to take distribution, I could have maybe a little better tax situation. It's very well possible. The problem is if gold goes to 3, 4, 5,000, it may be a moot point anyway. But just a fantastic, fantastic email. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Final segment on this Tuesday. Final segment on this Tuesday. Again, tomorrow will be the last day of the week. But don't worry, you can always order online. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Gold's up 20. Obviously, I guess throwaway yesterday. Dow's down. Gold's up. Silver's up. Silver, I got to turn my head here, 15.20 on silver. As we continue, right? We're waiting, silver, right? We're waiting. But the deal of a lifetime, it really is. Matter of fact, so I just checked my email during the break. The prices are rising again. This is the third price increase today. This is how these guys operate. You're talking about buying these $5 gold pieces. These are the old ones, 1866 to 1907. My cost, if I wanted, and why I can't do this until once these 30 are gone, I cannot replace them. You're talking about a cost of $368, right? You know, I can't make any money at $7, right? You got to pay the bills. But this is how fantastic the opportunity is. Maybe, you know, the last time I do it, where you can buy 4 5s and save this much. I mean, we ran them the same prices at 20 last week, and I was bragging about how great that was. I kept the same price, $375, but now they're $15 less. If you bought 4 of them, it'd be $15 less than the 20. That you don't get that. And I know that a lot of people are out of town, but those of you that are here, today is the day. You don't get a deal like this and be able to get fractional gold. Because we don't know what's going to happen. Listen, I want this whole chain, blockchain electronic credit thing to go smooth. But if it doesn't, and something ugly happens, right, you're going to be glad you have, 4 $5 gold pieces per se versus a 20. Right? Because maybe that's my penicillin, right, from the motorcycle gang, right? I mean, you hate to think that way, but that's what it could be. 800-951-0592. We started with 75 at the beginning of the hour. We have 30 left. All phone lines are open. 800-951-0592 if you've never, ever ordered from us. And I say this, try to do this once or twice a week. You just call the number, and just tell Wendy, I want the special. And you know what she's going to say? How many would you like? And you just tell her. 1, 4, 10. How many you got left? Whatever it may be. She's going to get a total from you. You give her your name and your address. You tell her, hey, I'm going to pick up, or I want you to ship it to me, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. No bait and switch. No buy something else. We don't play games. We just offer you the best gold at the best price. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. One more show before we're off for the holiday.